How did you spend your weekend?
I actually did less. He's asking me because I'm showing him my Satisfactory game. I spent less time on it than you would think, but I have spent some time, and we're gonna play. I think we've decided to play Satisfactory this afternoon, so that's exciting.
Yes, and in fact, so the hope there is that Mike will help me out of a little bit of a bind. I have this chronic problem in video games where I seem to die a lot, and I'm just at this point where all I want to do is get some coal and make some steel, and I've been stuck for about a week, and I know we could overcome this with a little co-op play, and then you'll see my meager Satisfactory world, and then then we'll swap over to Mike's, and you get to see everything he's done.
Oh boy! But this morning we're not playing Satisfactory.
No,
what are we doing this morning?
So this whole week actually, we're talking. So I guess I'll give it a little context. First off, I mean, I teach game design and development. Narrative and storytelling in games is a crucial component. I will say that when you work with especially middle school students, they don't always want to necessarily embrace that. But yet, when we talk about it, they definitely get it because they play games that are rich in narrative, and they can just spew off details about these storylines that I can't even remember or follow. So it's there. I mean, it's huge. It's huge. So I think any game designer would agree that the value of the story in games is big. So my students, while we're home, home from school, are currently starting to work on their final project, which is a game. And they could work in teams and whatnot. They could use just about any tool they like. But the first step, which they completed right before our, I guess you could call it spring break, which was last week, right before that, they wrote their design documents, which include a lot of story and narrative, as well as character descriptions, level descriptions, and things. But there's a big focus on the story. So whatever game they create is going to be story driven. It is a full-on game. It's not like a mini game, whatnot. Ms. Lee is here. Good morning.
Good morning.
So that's a big part of what they've already done, which is started to create that. Now, my kids can use, whatever tool essentially they like. So they might make their game in Minecraft. They might make it in Fortnite Creative, Unity, Unreal Engine. A lot have used Twine, which we're going to explore later this week. And Twine is, you don't get more story than that. That's all about choice-based adventures and creating story-driven games, typically non-graphical, like text-based games, which in fact, I have a nice little gem up on my screen that some of you might recognize. Let's see, yeah, there you go. So this is Zork. Zork is a classic. You ever played Zork, Mike?
No.
For real?
For real.
Oh my. Okay, so here we'll start with Zork. My kids also all play Zork, or it's one of the quests, and they can write a review of it. And it is one of the classic text-based adventure games. So it starts real simply. West of the house, you are standing in an open field of a white house with a boarded front door. There is a small mailbox. What do you think we should do, Mike?
Standing in a field with a front door, there's a small mailbox. Let's check the mail.
All right, let's open the mailbox. Ooh, we find a leaflet, Mike. What do you think we should do next?
Read the leaflet.
Right. Now, if you notice, so in this case, this is pure text-based. So this is the typical noun verb kind of way of communicating with the game, different from what our kids are necessarily going to do. But read leaflet, and it gives us this leaflet. Zork is a game of adventure, danger, and low cunning. In it, you will explore some of the most amazing territory ever seen by mortals. No computer should be without one. All right, so now we're back to, let's look around again. So we're back to the west of the house, standing in an open field with a boarded front door. What should we try now, Mike?
How about, I don't know, can you approach the house?
Approach house. I don't know the word approach. Computers are not very smart.
Go to house?
Go to house. It's here. I guess we're already there. How about if we go like a direction? Like
open the door?
We could try to open the door. It is boarded, I believe. The door cannot be opened. So let's go.
Boarded front door. Right?
Yeah. Let's go west. How about? This is a forest with trees in all directions. To the east, there appears to be sunlight. But we just came from the east. We can go back there. Let's see what happens. Well, this is funny too about this game. So, in my mind, if I were mapping this out, if I went one move west and then came one move east, I would think I would end up in the same place. Not quite the case here. This is a path winding through a dimly lit forest. The path goes north-south. There's a particularly large tree with some low branches. That's intriguing.
Fascinating.
What do you think? Let's see. Why don't we climb the tree? Yeah, look at that. So that's the idea. We're not going to play through. I'd love to play through Zork, but you can all do that. Zork is on classicreload.com. Anywhere you could look like for Play Zork online and find a number of ways to play it. This is a classic game. This is one of the games I grew up on my Apple II Plus. I have such fond memories of playing this game, and notice there were no graphics, no fancy, no ray tracing, no nothing. And I could get completely immersed in this game, just like, reading the descriptions, closing my eyes, feeling like I was there. And that was, the thing. So it definitely demonstrates the value of text-based games, right?
And you could also get water delivered to your house.
I guess I could nowadays. Back then, I didn't have all these wonderful ads popping up while I was playing. So anyway, back to all this. So
hydration.
Hydration. So my students have like all these options of things they can do. Some of them do create text-based games, and they use something like Twine, which I said we'll explore later in the week. Makecode Arcade is one of the things that we use a lot at the beginning, especially because it gets kids both making retro-style games, but also doing some coding, block-based or JavaScript. And of course, Minecraft they could use.
Super low floor.
Super low floor, pretty high ceiling. So anyway, our goal for today is to talk about, let's say, with regards to something like Makecode, how we can bring narrative into that. And part of this is just how, because as kids are making games in Makecode Arcade, they're typically going to, create their sprite. And we had some fun with this the other day. I'm not going to embarrass myself again with my pixel art skills, but I'll go to the gallery and I'll pick up a nice princess or something, and we'll rename this to, let's see, let's just rename it. What should we name this princess, Mike?
Peach.
Peach. Gee, that sounds familiar. I'm trying to remember where I, might have seen that before. So we've got Peach, and Peach is a player right now, right? So I can do things in Makecode Arcade. I can control Peach with the buttons, and that's a pretty simple thing in this game. So I got, oops, should work with the arrows too. Let's get back out of here. Why did that happen? Menu. Oh, wait. Oh, see what I did wrong? Do you see this little exclamation point?
Mm-hmm.
You know why it didn't like that?
Because you didn't name it?
Well, because we changed the name, and then when I drag this in, it's just my sprite. So there we go.
Right.
So now we've got to make sure it's Peach. Okay. So there we go. So now I'm moving Peach around. Okay. All good game mechanic-y stuff. Okay. But we want there to be story in our game. So we're going to incorporate that. We're also going to do some things like, let's change the background color.
Again, a little bit of a difference between this and Scratch in the sense that you don't have to program that move with buttons. Like that's like a function basically built into one block where so that you don't have to like program, when you stop pressing it to stop moving and all of that stuff. It just all works within that one block.
Right. And I think they kind of do that because the idea behind Makecode Arcade is to get kids up and running making arcade style games. So some of the things you'll be doing in this will be different from Scratch, but it still can get pretty involved. But it's kind of nice, I think, that something as simple as the movement you can do that way.
Yeah.
So now let's say on the start of the game. Now, one of the nice things I like also about Makecode, and this we'll do a little review of Makecode Arcade because some people might not have been on one of our other streams about this. In fact, we have a few videos of us doing stuff with Makecode Arcade. One that's especially interesting and worthwhile is when we had Kathy on, and she walked us through getting set up in GitHub, because that takes it to a whole new level when you have your students using a professional tool like GitHub, which is for versioning and sharing code and working collaboratively and stuff. But it's something they use, you know, in the real world, which is nice. So we did that in one of the videos, and you can get all those, of course. So what I was trying to say is, so we have, this is the interface for Makecode Arcade. We have our simulator here, which most Makecode tools have. In fact, just to show you a little bit more about Makecode in general, Makecode is Microsoft's coding, learn to code platform, and they have all of these. The neat thing about it is so much of it's about programming actual devices or things to do stuff. So Minecraft, which we've used Makecode with quite a bit, but then also a lot of these physical computing devices like the microbit, the circuit playground, and then here for arcade, which is what we're using right now. One of the things to note is you can buy these cool little, they look like a Game Boy, and you actually flash your program right to it, and you can play the game you create right on a handheld device, which is super cool.
You do.
And we've got
You do great workshops with this stuff. I've been there when you've had the device and
yeah, it's fun. Sweet. And it's cool to have at least one in your classroom too, so that when kids, just that idea of taking their game and putting it on this device is pretty. What would the word be? Rad.
Rad. Yeah, totally rad.
Rad. Be rad.
Totally rad.
Okay. Totes rad. Some of the kids I know would say lit, but you know, same idea. So anyway, so we can move our character around. So every area of code, Makecode has this nifty little vernacular where they call these drawers, and these are the contents of each drawer. So these are the different things that you can code. And like with any other coding language too, once you get into things like variables and logic, you know, you can pretty much start to make anything you want happen, regardless of just being confined to their blocks, right? And then there's also this nifty search box, which I love. So if I want to add text, let's say, to start our game, I'm going to go to text, and I can show long text. So let's say when the game starts, we set the background, and we show long text to be, let's think of a story, and we've got a few people here in our chat. So I'm going to rely on the brain power of the collective group here, and I think we'll do this all week, is let people here help us come up with the story. So what should be the start of our story, folks?
Oh boy.
Let's come up with something. We've got Brad, we've got Miss Lee, we've got Grand Medeb, who also gave a nod to Colossal Cave Adventure, which I think was the original name for Zork. So cheers to you.
Interesting.
So what should our story be about, people? Or what kind of narrative do we want to bring in?
It should be fruit themed, so that we need fruit themed adventure.
Okay, fruit themed adventure. This is like improv theater. So what do we want to?
Maybe the worlds. Please no bananas in the comments.
Miss Sharp is here.
So fruit themed adventure. Maybe.
Oh wait, Peach is looking to find her friend's banana. That makes sense. Let's see, a long time ago, in a fruit box far away.
That's it. In
a long time ago, in a fruit basket, far away. Peach. There was something unsettling to Princess Peach. We don't know what that is yet. Okay, so now there's my text in the game. Now, if it required to, which it does, to advance, this is nice because Makecode automatically will have it be that it goes from page to page to page. Okay, So let's see. So there we go. Now now another thing that I kind of want to bring into this is the fact that Peach is a very, very, oh boy. All right, we'll add that in too.
She needs to save the fruit from...
Peach has a very bad feeling about this. And as Mrs. Sharp said, she realizes, well, no, she doesn't realize yet. She's going to find somebody who's going to tell her that their fruit is missing. Okay? This is getting exciting. So it's going to do both of these in succession, I believe. Yeah. So that it could have been all in the same one. It's kind of nice to break it up just so you could see it, because before I was writing one and this just goes way off the screen because it doesn't text wrap as far as I know. So we got that, right? Now, that's just our basic introductory text. In a lot of games, see, and this is where we have to think just a little bit about how we're going to make this happen in Makecode Arcade. But games, you typically have a, something like an NPC that might guide the story, right? So let's say, and this could be interesting. It could be an arcade type game where all sorts of fruits are falling, but or fruits and other things are falling, but she has to catch the fruit naturally, right? And maybe one of them.
Let's avoid the donuts and avoid
the donuts. We're doing a great public service here, aren't we, for healthy eating?
Yeah, so we're gonna avoid the donuts and the cake and the.
Okay.
Not pie though,
like
because pie is better than cake.
But pie has fruit in it.
Sure. Are there knife sprites available? Oh, dark.
Well, we can make any sprite we want too. But is this knife sprite going to be something that's going to fall on her, or what she's going to use to catch the
Ruh-roh. So yeah, they're falling objects, different fruits.
Peel the fruits. Yeah, she needs to peel some of the fruits.
Or stop the fruits from being peeled if we're trying to keep them, from being eaten. I don't know.
Oh, we want to catch them maybe in the basket. I don't know. What happened? How did this all start?
There was such a world of possibilities.
Fruit basket far away. Okay. So anyway, so let's say that at the very least,
you asked for people to give. You brought this on.
I did, and that's good. Part of it's because it's early in the morning on a Monday morning, and I don't know how much brain capacity I have to think about what we're gonna do. So when you throw it out to the audience, it's a little trick. It's like putting the onus on them as if I'm interacting with them as part of this, but really I'm trying to have them do the work for us.
Sure.
Okay. So anyway, so we're going to add a new sprite here. That's going to be the NPC that we're going to maybe walk to, okay? So we're going to add this one, and what do we want to call our NPC, anybody? How about Joe? Okay. See how much brain power I have? Gallery. All right, so we're going to find Joe now. Pretty sure this is Joe.
That totally looks like a Joe.
Does, yeah. So now here's the interesting thing about this.
Looks like now, Joe from Joyzy.
Yeah, right now when I play the game though, what happens? So there's Joe. There's Peach. She was hiding behind Joe. So we need to move Joe, right? So we're gonna move Joe. And I gave Joe a name. Okay, we're gonna move Joe to a position on the screen somewhere. And it goes by the X and Y. And what's kind of nice, it did that thing again to me. We got to make sure it knows we're talking about Joe here. Okay, now we are going to move Joe. Let's just
that's a really cool feature there.
Isn't that nice?
Yeah.
So boom, that should be where Joe goes. Now watch how when we start our game, there's Joe. Okay. Now we want Peach to walk to Joe, and Joe is going to tell Peach what she needs to do, and maybe that will start this onslaught of fruit falling from the sky or what have you. Okay, so we want to set it up so that Peach has to sort of collide with or overlap Joe. So we're going to go to that, and there's a whole thing here called when on sprite of player. Now she's a player. We're going to make Joe because it'll be weird if it's other player. I mean, it might work, but he's not really an enemy. we'll actually create a new type of player called NPC. Okay. So when, although the interesting thing is, I wonder if this means anytime she collides with any NPC, this thing will happen. So there are going to be times when you'll have to have maybe your other NPCs will be different NPCs and stuff. So on sprite player, overlap sprite, NPC, what's going to happen? So now I'm going to just duplicate one of these. And Joe's going to say, Peach, you must help. My fruit is falling from the sky and landing on the ground, only to rot.
You are my only hope.
Is that dramatic? You are my only hope.
Thanks, Brad.
Please. Oh, did he say that? Oh, good, yeah. Good. Please. Brad's good. Brad must have already had his coffee. Please.
Knowing Brad, he's probably had 3.
Right. Or maybe he's already written this story in another time. So actually, so this is where this drives me nuts. I'm gonna make this be multiple text if I can, because I don't like that I can't see it. Well, actually, that's fine. You can cut that out. Okay. So we're gonna do this. We're gonna do. I hope I did that right. Yeah. Let's see. Peach, you must help. My fruit is falling. You don't. Please collect my fruit. But do not eat the sweets. They will surely. What will they do? I don't want them to kill us, really. They will surely
make your teeth rot.
Make your teeth rot.
I don't know. Maybe.
So we use rot twice. I don't know if that's a good idea, but okay. Now we also could. No,
that's bad.
We could decide to. Well, we could also decide to do things like maybe we want to have this text start on the left and this text show up on the right for no good reason. I wonder if they'll show up at the same time now if we do this. All right, Peach. So now we have to go over to our NPC and Peach, you must help. My fruit is falling from the sky and landing on the ground, only to rot. You are my only hope. Please collect my fruit, but do not eat the sweets. They will surely make your teeth rot. Okay. It would have been great if we had a different word and then made them rhyme. That would have seemed like intentional. Okay. So there they are. Now we need Peach to go away, actually, because I think what's happening here is that, okay, there we go. So I wonder if that's going to, well, that could become an issue too. Is like I touched the thing, then I need her to go away, but I don't know if that's going to cause me issues. Oh, there we go. We got away. We have to get away from the forced text. So now maybe actually after that, I wonder how we make, maybe we'll make, when that happens, we'll then have a pause and then we'll make Joe go away. That would be smart, right? And then we'll have, let's see, we need him to move off the screen. Let's see if there's a move.
Can you just make him disappear?
I wonder.
Oh, but you want him to like walk away.
Yeah.
Is there like a glide? There, move.
No, not exactly. Where?
Buttons.
Move.
No.
Yeah, but not buttons. But there might be another way. Let's see.
What's under sprites?
All right, let's see. Set sprite. Well, change sprite, or maybe change X and Y, or set velocity of sprite to. We could do that. Set velocity. Set Joe velocity of, let's say. So now in theory, Joe should walk away, I think. Okay, we're gonna go over to Joe. Oops. See, the problem is, all right, there we go. We were still overlapping Joe. So now Joe went away. Now, funny thing is, Joe's probably still moving. So in a good coding universe, I probably would do something to get rid of Joe, but we won't worry about that right now. But I'll tell you, it's funny, when I used to use Game Maker a lot with my students, when you would do that, I used to joke with them too about like, now your character is like 2 towns over, but the game's still going. So it's like still taking up memory in the game and all, but that's okay for now. So now we want to create this part where maybe the fruit starts falling from the sky. How are we going to do that? Let's see. Well, we'll create a new sprite. And let's see.
This is a serious game.
Now it's becoming a serious game, yeah. But now this is interesting because when do we want this to happen? We kind of want it to happen after this.
Yeah.
But not just based on the. It's kind of not really just based on that. It's let's see, scene. Let's see here. This is getting crazy. So we'll put it somewhere, and then we'll think about whether it's the right place or not.
Is there like a broadcast? Like
I was wondering that. I know it. Yeah, broadcast. I don't think they call it that. Let's see. Oh, here we go. How about this? On destroyed. Maybe we destroy Joe after a little pause. I mean, not in a bad way. So how do we? Let's see. Destroy. Well, we're going to need destroy later anyway, right? Destroy. Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe.
Sorry, Joe. It was meant to be. So on destroyed sprite of player. I wonder if we can make this, because it's really Joe in particular. On destroyed sprite of player, NPC we'll say for now. Set sprite. Now we need some fruit. So, well, we do need a donut, right? So we're going to have a donut. That's going to, and for now, we're going to just put it in specific places, although in a perfect world, we would get into randomizing it and spawning them and stuff like that. But we're just getting started here. On destroy sprite of kind NPC, we want to have this sprite donut. I guess we could argue over how to spell donut now.
Yeah, I don't know what that word is.
Oh no, you want an OUH or whatever it is, a UGH. What do they call it at Tim Hortons? How do they spell it?
Well, the right way, DOUGH.
Oh, they do? Okay.
DO.
All right. So here we're gonna have at least this donut go there, okay, for now. And then we're going to automatically set its velocity, of the donut to, we'll say 0 for the X. And this is interesting. Is it going to go up or down? I think we need it to go, I'm going to try this and see what happens. All right, so let's see. Right now, in theory at least, we should have the game start when we collide with Joe. Joe tells us his woes, and then this should happen, we think, right? Let's see. Joe. Oops. Joe. Oh, there goes the donut. I was afraid of that. So the X, this must be 0, 0, and then it goes down is the up for Y, which is kind of like how some other programs use it.
Right.
Choose a variable, true or false. Let's see. If you want to be able to turn fall on and off, you need a variable, right? Yes, I'm trying to think though where we want to put that. Let's keep that thought alive. So right now, at least, this is what we get. And let's see where. Oops. See where Peach ends up. Okay, so now in this case, if Peach were to get hit, so now before this happens, we should give Peach a little warning, right? So we're going to use a little more text. Beware of, we'll catch the falling fruit to return it safely to Joe. Watch out for the sweeps. It's a very exciting story. Okay, so now that should happen, And then we should have something where if the, and maybe what we also should do is when this is going to happen, no, not there, we're going to set, go away. We're going to set Peach's position when this happens, that she should be kind of down here as we start this part, right? And there you go. So there we go. Set donut to that. Set Joe, not Joe. Set Peach. Okay. So Peach should come down and whatever. Now we want to do another one of these things, right? We want to do a, when Peach collides, and this should be, so we're going to make the donut, we'll call it food, but then we'll call the other, or we'll call it sweets. We'll give it our own thing, because sweets are bad in our game. Sweet. All right, and then if she collides with a sweet, and it's not other Sprite, it's donut. Wait, when Sprite, okay, other Sprite. So players Peach collides with sweet. Now, what do we want to have happen? And maybe we want to have a lives system. So we're going a little deeper than just the story here, but what the heck? Lives. So set life to 3 at the beginning of the game. And when, where was that, under here maybe? Change life by -1 when it overlaps a sweet. But this is where it is very important to destroy the sweet. Because what happens in so many games when people start making their own games is that they make it that I should lose a life. Well, when it collides, well, it's going to be colliding with it for a long time if we don't tell it to do anything.
Passing through it, yeah.
Yeah. And it won't even, well, it might even pass, right, and it would do more than 3 touches in that time. So we're going to destroy the donut at that time. Okay? So let's see what we got now. See, we got our 3 lives. We got our dialogue.
This is great. This is my favorite game.
Yeah, you like it?
Mm-hmm.
Thanks. Now, here's the donut. Now, you know, I'm playing with fire here, but it did work. So like I said, so watch this. If I don't do this, I mean, just for example's sake, just so you see what I was talking about. Hi, Joe. Oh, Joe, I will help you. So now
need chat to weigh in on what the best fruit is. I have an idea.
Okay, so we're right, chat. We need now fruit to catch. Fruit good, sweets bad. Now Rachel thought that we had to ultimately collect the banana for Joe, and maybe the idea then is that we collect once we get the banana at the end of the level, that brings us back to Joe, and we save him, and then he's like, oh wait, but I also need my apple to make apple pie for you, Peach, or something like that. Right?
Mm-hmm. I was thinking,
no,
so you catch the fruit to get points, but there's one fruit, maybe it's the peaches, that actually regain your life.
Ooh, I like that, Mike. I get it because it's peach. All right,
Steve Isaac, I can do this too, you know.
I know. Well, I mean, I've never not had faith in you, but but allow me to be. Yes, it would be great for a summer camp. I do this with my even 8th grade and high school students as their introduction to kind of game design, because we get into the game mechanics, we get into retro games, we get into coding a little bit, and it's a great springboard to everything else.
Yeah.
All right, Peach to recover the peach. Okay. So now, oh boy. So we also want score, right?
What we should do is do a stream or a series of streams where we do a GitHub collab game make.
Yes.
And
definitely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. In fact, and we should be, it'd be great to do a series, and we've talked about it, where we, especially if we get, hey, Scott, if we get a few people who want to commit with us and stay with the process with us, we could make a game with that input, do it collaboratively, do the whole GitHub thing. I bet I wear the crown to GitHub with us.
Actually, Mr. Brad Treffler and I are working on an idea for streaming, and Brad Schreffler might be the person to join us as a preview to future work with Mr. Brad Schreffler.
Wow, that sounds like a little foreshadowing, maybe. If it
hashtag marketing, hashtag.
Well, I'm all about it. I would love to work with Brad and you on anything.
Brad is trouble.
Brad seems like trouble. Who is Grand Mideb? Is that somebody that we know?
I don't know. We do now. Welcome.
Well, we do.
Make sure you follow the channel.
Yeah. Yes. Okay, now, so now what did we want to do? We wanted to have the falling fruit start. Now, trust me, there's so much more to this that I'm not doing, as right as we would developing it further. I'm thinking of this as like a prototype because we would get into something where it automatically spawns and stuff, but I'm just trying to show the basics of this tool and the point of the narrative also. You are friends with me on Twitter. Great. I'll have to figure out. Okay, excellent. Well, send me a DM and say hello. Let's see, because that is definitely and thank you for joining us this morning. Let's see. So we want to now set yet another sprite, right? So this is on destroyed NPC. So all these things, this will be interesting. So this is all really what's happening once we get past this part. So there could be more, there could be pauses, there could be all sorts of things. So let's just say, and it doesn't have to be a pause.
You said that super Jersey. Pauses.
That's funny.
You don't normally fall into it very often, but I enjoy it when you do.
But every once in a while. So we know we want a peach, but we definitely want a strawberry. A strawberry would be like 1 point, and a peach you're saying is a life, right?
Yeah.
This is getting good.
But strawberries are points.
So now strawberries will be a fruit, and I like doing it this way because it's just, see, the reason I'm naming everything separately is when you have these collision things, it does, you're telling it, if my sprite, which in this case is, we're going to make this strawberry, anytime you collide with any of the fruits, it might be 1 point. So if we make a cherry also a fruit, then it will have that same part there, right? So now we're going to put the position of the strawberry to, with the tool everyone now loves, over here, let's just say. And we're going to set its velocity. Now, this is interesting, too, because we could, and this is where things like as we get moving in the game, I always emphasize the importance with my students of what we call ramp of difficulty, that the game should increase in difficulty as we move along. So like at maybe the strawberry moves at a speed of 50. Maybe the cherry we do decide is worth less or more points, and that moves at a speed of, faster or slower. Maybe once we get to level 2, there become more donuts or the fruit moves faster, and as we lose fruit, something bad happens or what have you, right? So now we did this before with the sweet. Now we're going to duplicate this, and now we're going to say, on sprite of kind player collides with fruit, we're going to change actually score. Should be under here. Change score by 1. Okay, now we also have to do our little trick, and I think I got rid of it here by accident. Remember, we got rid of the have to destroy. We have to destroy. In this case, it was the donut. Oops, what happened there? Donut, and then we're going to duplicate this, and here we have to destroy. This is interesting because see here, it's if it overlaps with a fruit, destroy. I mean, it could be strawberry, but if it's not a strawberry, I feel like there should be a way to just destroy that particular fruit. Anyway, I'm going to try this for now. But unless we do label them separately too, like instead of fruit, it depends if it's going to matter. Well, yeah, it might. So let's change this to strawberry. So we're a little more specific that we're actually, if we collide specifically with a strawberry, that happens, because we'll have another one for like a cherry or a peach or whatever. And then, you know, and then we want to create one more. For now, we'll do one more of these at least. And we're going to have I'm going to add another sprite. This should also be, yeah, wherever we put it here. And this will be the peach that we're so excited about, right? If we can find one. Otherwise, I have to draw one, which we don't really want to have happen.
I didn't actually think that there might not be a peach sprite.
But we could pretend. We're very creative. Theater of the mind.
So is that all the fruits there?
Yeah, that looks kind of like a peach, we'll say. But watch this, though. No, but if we do this.
Oh, snap. I know what you're going to do.
Yeah.
Click on the orange. Oh, baby. It's now a peach.
You didn't think I had it in me. It is such a peach. Look at that. I'm pleased. Okay.
Oh, my God.
New kind. It's going to be a peach. Okay. So, and this is going to be called, now this is funny because we can't call it peach because we already have a variable called peach. Peach fruit. Okay. And now we want to do a whole nother one of these kind of things. So when sprite overlaps with peach fruit, peach, which that's a little confusing, but okay. We want to actually now change life this time and give you a life back. I like that. And we need to change life to 1 and then destroy peach fruit. Don't get confused there. And now we need peach fruit to be, now where do we want peach fruit? Oh, and maybe, all right, so this is where we get into the, so here we go. So peach fruit is going to fall at, let's say, you know, a velocity of 100, right? So that's going to be quicker.
Harder.
Harder. Because, you know, that's a big recolor. Now, oh, she said recolor the apple, or she. Let's see. So now we're going to go over here. We're going to boom, 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 boom. Okay. Hello. That's not really doing what I thought it would do. Oh, that's funny. First of all, peach fruit. See what happened there? Strawberry. See how I had the wrong things here? I had peach each time because I duplicated it, but never. So now watch. Okay, we go over here. Okay, whoa, I want the extra life. I got it. Okay.
Oh, so you can actually get, we need an if. If you have 3, don't add 1. Like it can only be.
You don't want to be able to get. Ooh, you don't want to be able to get more than 3 lives. But I mean, it also depends how few of these we put in the game. I mean, you can have an extra life, but all right. But why don't we do it just for the sake of it, right? So so we'll do this. How are we gonna do this? If let's see. So you're saying if lives. No, this has to be math. So we need math. If, I think you're just doing this to test me. Which one is the equal? Is there an equal in here? No, so one of these has to have an equal. See how this is divided? We need one to be like if something equals something. It has to be in here. Here we go. If life equals 3. If it's less than or equal to is what we really need, right? If it's less than or equal to 3, then change life by 1. Else destroy peach, right? Wait, that doesn't make sense either. Wait a minute. No, we need to be. Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Either way, it's when we collide with it. Okay, but
yeah.
But either way, we need this in there. Like we would need it to destroy this either way.
Oh yes.
Maybe. I mean, we might be okay. So now let's try it. So in theory, now we should not get the extra peach, right? Ah! Oh, I did get it though. If life is less than or equal to 3, then change life. Else destroyed. Maybe we need to get rid of this completely.
Should just be less than, Brad says. Oh, because if it's equal to 3, you're adding 1. So it just should be less than.
Yes. Thank you, Brad. All right. That probably doesn't matter necessarily, but we'll keep it in there.
See, Brad knows
now. He does. Oops, there goes. Now, look at that, Brad.
Perfect.
And Donut, I lost a life. Okay, we got it all good. Now, we could also do things like when we overlap with Sweet and we lose a life, maybe that's a good place for more of our story, right?
Now you must head to the dentist. You have a cavity.
And then in theory, in our game, maybe we would have the player, maybe it would actually follow the story and whatever. I mean, right now it's a simple arcade game where you catch the fruit, don't catch the whatever, and so forth. Now, so that gives you an idea. Again, the main thing that we've been focusing on here is things like all we've been really doing is the showing the text, the going about where the text displays. I'm curious what other options they have for text actually.
So, can I also ask? There are other backgrounds, yes?
Yes, of course. So that's the other thing, right? Is like, so we barely scraped the surface here in terms of. So if we go to scene, we can set the background image. Let's see. Oops. That's a little annoying. I want to do really that. Then I want to move this, let's say, up to here. And then we could go in the gallery for images. There aren't that many right there. However, I believe we can make any background we want, right? So in this case, now we've got
so there aren't like built-in ones?
There are these two, it seems, but we could go to we could edit this one. We could, let's say we get rid of this totally, and it doesn't want to do that. Let's get rid of that. Oop. Let's try to set a background so in other words, just like anything else, the editor comes to us like this. Now, I don't know. I don't think we could import something, but we can, of course, draw any background we want. What's this here? Marquee, but there is the gallery. So, I mean, you could start with this and then modify it or start from scratch or what have you.
It seems strange that
maybe there are
more built-in backgrounds.
I do agree, actually. Maybe they'll come up with more. I mean, this product, I mean, it's technically, I don't think it's in beta anymore, but it was one of these that was in a long-term beta. So there you go. But so we could also, I think that well, here's the other thing. I'm sorry. Let's try this. Let's go to tile set. Oops. Now, tile sets actually confused me a little bit, but tile map actually. Set tile map to. Now, when we go to that, so here, these are, I see. So this is similar to, these are several different built-in tile maps. See them? So similarly, like these, I could make a world out of.
Yeah. That's like I think it was Game Fruit.
Had
the tile, was it that had the tile maps?
Probably. Yeah. Well, at least it had all these different pieces we could plug in for each level and stuff too. We're going to revisit Game Fruit because they have recently launched, I don't remember when we talked to Dan, they were launching a choose your own adventure type of tutorial and method within their platform. So we're going to explore that. I think it's maybe Friday. You know what we have tomorrow, which I'm excited about?
Tell me.
I'll tell you. So Allison Levy. Do you know Allison Levy, Mike?
No.
Oh, you're gonna love Allison. So tomorrow, Allison Levy from Brain Pop is going to join us. And if you probably used to be a Brain Pop guy, I would think, with your age group, or not
totally.
So much. Yeah. Okay. So was creative coding around yet in your day?
No.
Or it might have been like in the beta at that point too.
Okay.
But creative coding is their sort of coding environment that has some of it's integrated with activities with Scratch, some of it uses vid code, but it's very much into the creative idea of, so they have a few things in their toolbox for narrative game-based or story-based things with code, including like comics and other stuff. So Allison's going to join us tomorrow and walk us through, and we're going to do some cool stuff with that. So for those of you, a lot of our stuff, I mean, this is also applicable for middle school, but most of our stuff has been geared towards like middle school age, maybe high school even, and upper elementary. When you get into Brain Pop, we're really hitting that elementary group. So please tell your friends to join us tomorrow. I think it's going to be pretty great to, and Allison is just wonderful. So yeah, that's what we have tomorrow. And then Wednesday, if I recall right, we're going to be looking at the narrative tools in Minecraft Education Edition. No, Twine. Then Thursday, Minecraft Education Edition, and then Friday, Game Fruit. So we have a pretty action-packed week ahead of us here, as always, really. But for the sake of marketing, it's probably great to talk about how amazing this week is going to be.
Action-packed.
Action-packed. So yeah, so you have these ideas of the now, and the part that confuses me a little bit that I have to play around with a little more, and if my lovely wife was here, she probably knows this better than me. But when it comes, and this would be important in what we're doing here, would be the whole idea of going from level to level. So like, in other words, I would want to be able to advance to the next level. And I believe the way that works in Makecode is it's not as simple as like, so in Scratch, you add a new scene. In this, you don't quite do that, but you, I believe, can change. Let's try it for a second. So there's our background. Let's say, let's say when we destroy the NPC. All right, so we have this background here. I don't think, well, let's see what happens when we do this, because I added that silly tile map for some reason. Okay, that's not really necessary here. Let's get rid of that. So let's say we have this background first, and then we at least change the background when we go to the more of a game part from after talking to Joe. And now we change it to the fancy other background. Look at that, little trees, like a silhouette kind of thing. So fancy. Now it's fancy. So now what should happen is we have our conversation. Peach has a very, very bad feeling about this. Talks to Joe. Joe says, Peach, please help me. And that, and then you're my only hope. And then we go here. And then now we're at least in this different look, but we're still in like the same level. Oh, now we have to go to the dentist. So it'd be cool if this, oh, you know what? Maybe we make it, now this becomes the dentist office when we have to go to the dentist. But I don't know exactly what happens there. So we're kind of running low. Let's open up if anybody has any questions about the Makecode interface. Couple of things we will remind you of is it's important to kind of save your work. And what's really interesting about Makecode, when I download or save this, so it saved my file, but notice it saves it as an arcade narrative.png. So it actually saves it. Yeah, that's great, Brad. We will make that dentist chair. It saved it as a PNG. Yeah, isn't that weird? So a PNG is an image file. Makecode, I mean, I know a decent amount about computers, but there's big gaps in my knowledge. Apparently, the code for this can be embedded in a PNG. Who would have thought, wow. Right, Mike? Isn't that interesting?
That's crazy.
So that's the image. So if I wanted to send this to Brad so that he could work now on the dentist chair and then send it back to me, I could send him this and then he could get it. I can also watch this, everybody. Here's my game. When I publish it, watch this. I'm going to copy this right now. This you're going to love. I'm going to drop this in if I could find it. Let's see. I'm going to drop this here in the chat, and there's the game that you can actually play. Cool, huh?
Look at that.
So you can play the game there. And then of course, and so when you play it like that, watch this.
It opens up a much bigger screen, which is
well, that cool. And check this out. So I think you're still seeing. Okay, good. So when I open it like this, right? And this is, see, the only problem with this is that currently your project is saved to your computer, to the drive, to the web browser you're working in the cache, right? So if you clear your cache or cookies or whatever, there's a good chance you're going to lose your work. So saving it like this is important, or that's why that GitHub part is so important. So, you know, put these two things together. Go to our video on YouTube, Wham's Game Design, and check out the video on connecting with GitHub, and then you'll start to understand the real workflow or how you should do that. So anyway, so here's my game. I can play it right in the browser. I can embed this in my students when they do these projects. Look, strawberry. Uh-oh, no, I don't want to get it. Oh boy, game over. So, and then I can go to show code or edit code here. So if I click edit code, this is me doing it, but if you did this, you have access to all my code, kind of like you would in Scratch to remix it. So you can go there. The advantage is you could easily send all the sprite edits.
It's so wild. This is actually why it's so easy to manage in GitHub, though, for sure.
Yes.
Because all that you're really doing is moving a PNG file back and forth.
Yeah, in fact,
updating like the current version to a new version. Like, it's ridiculous.
Now, I had set this up, but again, like anything in this computery world we live in, if you don't, if you don't work out those muscles, you forget. So I don't always remember what the process is, but here's my, let's see, I should be able to create this GitHub repository in my account, which I'm probably linked to right now. And then in theory, I should be able to go there and access it, share it with people. In theory, I think that worked. Let's see if I can actually get to GitHub correctly. We're going to run out of time in a minute, but let's just give this a quick try. Sign in. I'll probably forget my password and stuff. Oh, here we go. Now, do I have, what did I call? Narrative. Look at that. So this is everything I need for that narrative. And if I go to, I'm trying to think where oh, here we go. I don't see the file. It should be it shouldn't be a JSON. It should be,
I got it, Rich.
The PNG or something. So anyway, interestingly enough, this did make it already from, this should be from today, last commit a minute ago. So I do have all of my stuff here. So it is working. And Renchi's here. The link to the game. Yes. Do you got it? You got her? You got her covered? All right, cool. Thanks. And anyway, so GitHub, once you're kind of connected, it's fairly seamless, which is great. Mm-hmm. So, gosh, so much we could do, beyond this. I hope you got the idea. We're just trying to teach with some of these tools where the narrative piece comes in, how to add story to your games, the importance of that. Our story was not the most rich story, but I think it was getting there. It was getting there.
It was awesome.
Yes.
Cool. Thanks, what are we doing? So this afternoon we're doing Satisfactory. Let's play Satisfactory. we got some Twine this week. So all narrative this week, which
Brain
is going
Pop
to be
tomorrow.
pretty
Remember,
great.
with Allison from Brain Pop.
Very cool. Brain Pop is awesome. And then the Gone Home Game Study still Thursday at whatever time that is, 3 o'clock. So lots going on. Make sure you're following the channels so that you get notifications when we go live. And we'll see everyone at 3 o'clock. Bye, everyone.
We will.
Have an awesome day.
Yes, happy Monday.